Alright.
Welcome to another build, you Arnold Schwarzenegger loving bastards. This time I'm doing a Greatsword build. Yeah, I know, before we start I need to already say that I know that Flames of Devotion is the best skill in the game and you can just do it like that, I know. Because I already did single class Paladin DPS build with Greatsword, but this time I wanted to combine something else. So I did. I've combined Devoted subclass with Shattered Pillar Monk subclass and it works rather well. Before this I tried Barbarian plus Devoted, but it did not work that well. And before Barbarian and Fighter I went single class Devoted to try how that would work. DPS wise it was crap, but if you want to be a tank with Greatsword in hand, you can be as a Devoted subclass. Just use abilities that boost your defense like unbending, refreshing defense and so on, and you'll be fine. You can survive a long time as long as you have discipline. When you lose discipline, then you're gonna melt. This is the build, Devoted combined with Shattered Pillar. Devoted gives you only one weapon that you can use, but it gives you increased penetration and critical hit damage with that chosen weapon. We are gonna use only Greatsword because this is a Greatsword build, so it's a good bonus. Now attributes are a bit of a mess, I admit, but it had to be done. It fucking had to be done. I dumped Resolve. Yeah, you're gonna be pissed at me, I don't care. I have reasons for that. Most of these points I put into Intellect. Yeah, I know Smart Conan the Barbarian is not something we've seen that often, but trust me, it works. The thing is, Swift Flurry and Discipline strikes do not have lengthy duration. So we're gonna increase that by putting points into Intellect. If you don't do it, if you dump Intellect, then you're gonna constantly have to reapply both of these effects to make this build viable. And if you're trying to reapply these effects, then you're losing your actions. Enemies have potential to interrupt you, and you're wasting both Fighter and Monk resources in doing so. So Intellect is here a must. Next to Perception. Perception needs to be maxed out. With Greatsword modal ability, we lose a lot of accuracy. To counter that, we put lots of points into Perception. Dexterity, the basic one, is 16 for me. I've also put as a background Deadfire Archipelago, which adds +1, so it's 17. More action speed with great weapons is always a good thing. Constitution is something you can build through items. I have it at 10 and I've used Belt of Constitution to get +2 to Constitution, that's it. Might is 11 plus Human 12. These are my stats and trust me, it works. Now for the active abilities. I've been really exact with the points and what I want to do with them, so I don't think you have much room for maneuverability. I have this last point that I really don't know where to put, so it's up to you what you do with it. The things that you need here are these. Discipline Barrage upgraded to Discipline Strikes. Discipline Strikes gives us Intuitive, which greatly increases our DPS potential. Mule Kick only costs 1 Discipline, and it's really useful to take out one opponent for a couple of seconds out, and you're also gonna leave them with Disoriented debuff. From the stances, what we need is the Mob Stance to trigger an AoE attack whenever we kill an enemy. I also like this Charge move. Although it works best when dual wielding, it's also very good to get to those squishies that are constantly targeting you with bows, crossbows and so on, and mages as well. That's all that you need from active abilities from the fighter tree. From passive abilities, two-handed style. This is an optional one. If you want, take it. If you don't want, you don't need to. But it's really nice to have +20 to all defenses against intellect, perception and constitution afflictions. Especially useful is to have it against perception afflictions because we cannot afford to miss. Weapon specialization upgraded to weapon mastery, as always. Uncanny Luck really helps because it gives you 5% chance to resist any attack, which is good defensively, and it's good offensively because you gain 5% of hits converted to crits. No reason not to take it. Armored Grace. With this you can go even with medium armor, especially if that medium armor's got also minus recovery penalty. To be honest, with light armor you don't need Armor Grace. Especially because some of these unique light armors have already minus 15% armor recovery reduction. So this would be an overkill. Improved critical is a must, and that's about it. From the Monk tree, what we need obviously are Swift Strikes upgraded to Swift Flurry. Triggering another attack is what we need to make the Greatsword extremely efficient. I also like Blade Turning, but that's up to you. I simply love to run into a group of enemies and then turn this on to redirect melee attacks to another nearby target. Modal ability upgraded to Turning Wheel to add burn damage per wound. And that's it from the active abilities. From the passive ones, go for lesser wounds. I like Soul Mirror, 50% chance to reflect against ranged attacks if they miss. Crucible of Suffering is an optional one, but I like it. Plus 10 to all defenses except deflection for 20 seconds after hostile effect expires. Rooting Pain adds a bit to the AoE DPS potential, but the most important thing is interrupts all enemies in the area whenever you receive a wound. Enervating Blows, you weaken targets on critical hit, why not, it's a good upgrade. And for the last one, Heartbeat Drumming, 25% chance on melee weapon critical hits to attack again instantly. Same shit like this. It stacks together, so why the hell not? As I said, you have couple of points that you can remove from the build, which I've said that it's optional, and put into maybe some active ability. As for the gear, you're gonna need a good Greatsword. Before I tried every test with Whispers of the Endless Path, but that thing's got huge damage debuff. Yeah, it attacks in a cone, it's got some nice bonuses, but it's got a huge fucking debuff to damage. So if you want to do proper one-hit damage, you're gonna need something else. Even this normal Greatsword without any special properties, but only having a legendary status is fantastic. Now, depending on the level that you're at the moment, you can have exceptional one, superb one. Always go for these instead of Whispers of Endless Path. Whispers of Endless Path is great for first, I don't know, 10 to 12 levels, but then when you start getting to superb and legendary gear, definitely take anything besides that. Definitely get yourself this Helm of the Falcon. You can get it at Crookspur, where those slavers are. As soon as you land on the beach, there's a merchant, you can buy it off of him. It gives you minus 20% recovery time with two-handed melee weapons. That's huge. And it helps in defensive aspect as well. I went with light gear. As I said, if you're gonna go with light gear, you don't need Armored Grace passive, but you can get it to get that little bit boost to the recovery time. Now for the fun part, combat demonstration. Me and my tank, as always. You are not a tank, you are DPS, so you're gonna need help. Anyway, at the beginning of combat, cast first Disciplined Strikes, then cast Swift Flurry, because Disciplined Strikes last longer. Go at the group of enemies and then just start smashing their skulls in. Constantly pay attention to the remaining time, especially with Swift Flurry, and reapply it whenever you can. It all depends on the RNG. If you're lucky, if you crit, you're gonna have a lot of chance to strike opponents again because of the on-crit bonuses from the Monk tree, and that's where your damage potential lies, especially when you kill an enemy and then you also cleave around you. That's really it, it's that simple. You just gotta reapply constantly Swift Flurry and Disciplined Strikes, but much less frequently than you would with 10 intellect or even lower, so you can concentrate on doing insane amount of damage. Thank you for watching, I hope you enjoyed the build, and see you all soon.
How do you like that? This isn't going very well.